Hey guys, it's Jack Punkington. Today we are reviewing the Boy Detective's newest album, Disco Lunch. I want to start off by saying how phenomenal this album is and how it really hits me in my heart. This album literally is almost taking nostalgia and mixing it with modern day elements. There's a lot that I'll come back to with that. But that's the biggest thing. Production-wise, it's amazing. That makes sense. This is the first album they recorded since they got signed to Punkerton Records. I know that they did a remaster of Art Thief as Exhibit when they got signed, but I think this is their first full-fledged album since they got signed. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm going to read off the track list here real fast for you guys, and then I've written down some notes and got some interesting comparisons for you. So first song is the theme song for Ida George. Track 2 is Haunted House. 3 is Beth Trust. Keep that one in mind. Track 4 is TANGC. Track 5, Too Dad, Too Worse. Track 6, Goodyear. Track 7, Hatchet, in parentheses. Not the one by George. It's kind of cutting off. Hold on. Sorry, I've got my whole setup as a mess here. Polson's. The Buckley Smile is track 8. 9 is American Farts. And 10 is What Are You, the Shoe Police? Okay. First off, Boy Detective, amazing song titles. I love all the song titles. They made me laugh really hard. So this album makes me think of their first full-length album, which was Banned from the Bathtub, which came out in 2021. It gives me very nostalgic vibes for that, but also for a just certain time in my life. And it's very interesting. I'll come back to that in a minute. So the first track starts off really hitting that first album vibes when you just hear them say, hey, we're the Boy Detective from Southeastern Michigan. I don't think they did that in Exhibit/Art Thief, if I remember correctly. And they did it in their first album and then in this album. So it just kind of makes me feel nostalgic for that first. I went through after listening to this and then listened to both Art Thief and then Banned from the Bathtub just because I was nostalgic, and also I'll get to it later. I was looking for a certain song and I couldn't find it. I thought it was an Art Thief. It was actually in Banned from the Bathtub. So yeah. The second track has one of the sickest bass intros ever. It gives me very 2000s post-hardcore vibes and has a really sick and drum kind of build up to the bridge. That's something else that is very pervasive in this album as a whole. It is their heaviest album out of the 3 that I've listened to. And that I find very interesting because, they're a ska punk band, but they really take elements from a bunch of different styles. There's a couple tracks in here that are very Midwest emo influence. There's a couple tracks in here that's post-hardcore. A couple tracks that's pop punk. A couple tracks that's just straight up kind of like ska punk. A couple tracks that gets really metalcore-y. And it is so cool how they really mix up the styles together. And I love that. And that's a Boy Detective thing. They've always kind of done that. But it's really, really present in this album, and it's, I think, really easy for you to be like, oh, that gives me this vibes. And that's why I keep coming back to this whole thing about nostalgia. This album makes me nostalgic, each song for something different, which is really cool. And it also kind of pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. Track 3. So this is the song, and it's ironic that's track 3 for both albums, that I was trying to find a connection to. In Banned from the Bathtub, the third track is She Only Dates Astronauts, So What on Earth Is She Doing With Me? there is a line in there that is, I would do anything for you, get on my knees and crawl through a mile of glass or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm sorry, Benny. And this song, there's a very similar hook in terms of the melody that really makes me think of that, and I like it. Again, made me nostalgic. Track 4, another sick bass riff, although this one's more in the background, kind of like during the main verse riff. And I liked that. There's a really funny Five Finger Death Punch reference, and that makes me laugh. My cousin is obsessed with Five Finger Death Punch, so I hear it. I work with her, and I hear it about 2 to 3 times a week, every week. So it just made me chuckle. Track 5. This is the track that really made me feel like, man, it is a step up from where they really have been. And that's not to say that they were like anywhere bad. They weren't. And I went back and listened to their other 2 albums. But you can really hear a production difference, in my opinion. Benny's voice is just the way it's mixed on this song is perfect. It does everything it's supposed to do, and it just really comes through. Also, I'm trying to think of a way to say this. The Boy Detective is literally the perfect dad rock band. Like, everyone's like Nickelback or Creed or not Alter Bridge, but Nickelback or Creed, or like bands kind of like from that area are like dad rock. This is dad rock. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, like, guys, like, I love this. There are literally like lines about being a dad in a lot of these songs, and it's like really kind of cool, and like how they really connect that to the music. And it's just like, it's just fun, but also like very dad rocky. Like, just the way that the lyrics are written. And I think that is something that all dad rock bands should aspire to be, like the Boy Detective. So yeah, track 6 has a really sick guitar intro. I was like, woo! Like, it made me make that like that face when the riff hits really good. Then there's a riff in here that makes me think of Art Thief, and that's something else. I like that they can kind of pull influences from their previous work. Oh, and it's got the classic like balata, balata, like what you say in like a ska band kind of thing that Benny does. And not gonna lie, right before the breakdown of the bridge, it kind of it's just got a very Midwest emo vibe. Like, I was expecting like Hot Mulligan shouts in the background, and I was like, oh, it's so perfect. Track 8 really changes gears, and it goes to a very pop punk vibes. It has a really sick solo and breakdown. And yeah, it's just more of a fun. Track 9 is what I would call a classic Boy Detective song, where unlike the other songs that make me feel nostalgic, this just makes me feel like this is a core like sound for the Boy Detective. Like, I could hear this on every album. And it's just kind of that way. The gang vocals in this track are so good. I love the kind, not like a call and response kind of thing, but like Benny sings a verse, then there's gang vocals, then Benny sings, and there's gang vocals. It's so cool. I love it. And then track 10, which is the final song, it fits as like, okay, this is the good closer for an album. There again, breakdowns and bridges in this album are sick. This whole album just has such a way with mixing in the other genres and getting like those breakdowns. It's really cool. The drums on this album, I don't know why. I don't know how it's mixed. I don't know what it is. They just make me like think of like Sleep Token, in the fact that how they are recorded and how they are like represented are really good because it's a really well recorded drum track for all the songs. I love that. I also want to go back up to something. Hold on. Which track was it? Oh yeah, track 7. I think I skipped that. It's their heaviest track. It's the heaviest track for the whole album. It is ska core. It is literally ska metalcore, and I am here for it. I loved it so much. It got me all pumped up, and I was like, yes. And there is one other song on here that I wanted to add. I literally wrote, I'm trying to remember what track it is. I'm trying to find it in my notes here. I actually was like, am I listening to The Boy Detective or am I listening to The Used? It like made me teary-eyed for that kind of sound. And I was like, oh man, it just hits me so hard. But yeah, overall, like this whole album is phenomenal. The way it's produced is really well. The way that it really kind of sticks with you in like different genres is nice, and the whole nostalgic thing. I think it's more nostalgic for people who are around my age range between 30 and like mid 40s. I think Benny is like 41, 42. I don't know the ages of all the members of Boy Detective, but I know Benny is in like that early, like late 30s, early 40s range, because he's been big friends with my friends of Capulet since back in the day. So, and there is something about the Boy Detective that just hits me in the feels. I think it's because the way that they sound, and this is prevalent in all their music, and it's just a personal thing for me, it captures a feeling that no other band does. It captures this feeling of joy and of wonder. When I started playing live seriously back with As Your Attorney, the Boy Detective was the second band I ever opened up for, the first being Escape Plan. But the Boy Detective was the second band. It was our second show at the Regal Beagle. Going from the Sanctuary for my very first ever live concert with a serious band, which is a huge stage. It's a great place to play. I would love to get a proper acts out there. I've been trying to email them, trying to get their attention like crazy. Nothing works so far, but who knows? 2026, we got a lot going. Anyway, to the Regal Beagle, which is where our second show was for As Your Attorney when I was in it, and opening up for the Boy Detective, walking into that, and I'll be honest, the Regal Beagle is not the same. It has changed drastically since this point in time. Still a fun place to play, still a great place to play. It just, I don't know, there's a feeling that's not really there anymore. At least from my experience this last time that I was there. But there's a feeling from that DIY rundown bar that this band is just like, when I heard the Boy Detective for the first time, I was like, this band is going to go places. That this band just made it fun. It made, because like, I didn't know how I was going to feel about playing live. I don't ever, it's never really left me that like, oh, I'm doing this. I'm playing shows. There's people that are coming to watch me. There's people that listen to me all over the world. It's kind of crazy. And it's never really left me that wonder. I'm always excited. I'm always like, I get nervous, obviously, but I always get excited. And this band, the way that this band feeling is that feeling every time I listen to their music. It incorporates that. That's why I like listening to this band when I'm playing Tony Hawk. It literally makes me feel nostalgic for when I was in high school, but also nostalgic for when I started playing shows. Even though it hasn't been that long, it's only been a few years, it makes me nostalgic for that wonder. I still get it. Maybe not as much as I did, like, the second show, but pop on a Boy Detective song for me, and I get teary-eyed because it's like, man, this is great. Like, I don't know. That's just the feeling for me for Boy Detective. Detectives because it's a very personal thing, I know. But I'm sure that there are bands that make everybody have a similar kind of feeling. So, yeah, Disco Lunch, 10 out of 10, seriously. Like, okay, I haven't done this in a while, so there's been a lot of albums between the last album I reviewed and this album, or singles or EPs or whatever that have come out from bands that I like. I don't know, I'll have to re-listen to it, it's been a minute, but in the summer, Sleaze by Lava, which was their debut full-length album, was my album of the year. This might surpass it. I have to listen to them both succinctly to really see how I feel. If so, it's very like that much because they're both really great albums. This just makes me nostalgic. Sleaze just makes me like really enjoying like punk and that sound. So anyway, go check out The Boy Detective. Go listen to this album, and yeah, thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you want to hear more. I've got equipment that I've got to review coming up, and I've got a backlog of some music that I need to review, especially a certain song by Lanternfly, because it's really good, and they kind of used me in their promo, and I never recorded the review that I needed to, so that's coming. But anyway, guys, Jack Punkington signing out. Peace, everyone.